Good to feel sand under your feet again. Ah. Look at this, Vic.
Hey,
one of those lizards that the island's named after.
This is one of 16 species of lizard that live on this island, a sand goanna, after whom Captain Cook named the place. They're usually shy, and although there are thousands of them on Lizard, we were a bit surprised to find this one out on the beach.
Would the Aborigines have eaten these fellas?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah?
That's one of the reasons that they came. Checking everything for food.
I think he might like the smell of that spider shell there.
Lizard Island has never been the permanent home of any Aborigines, but we do know from the huge mounds of old shells or middens here that they made frequent visits for food over thousands of years. The sand goannas were one major reason they came. Very good tucker. A knife that is sharp does this job best. It also lets you do the job fast, so the fillets don't get half-cooked in the hot tropical sun. Filleting is a simple skill which improves with practice. The better you get, the less you waste. And when you've taken what you can use, the rest is best returned to the sea for the crabs and other marine scavengers. Today had been a very full one. Tomorrow will take us to some new territory. Today we plan to put the group of islands immediately around Lizard behind us and head north to an area even more remote and even less fished. And like every other time we made a move, I wasn't going to waste a second of fishing time. We were trolling again, and typical of this magic country, we didn't get far from Lizard before the first action.
Like a cooter, Vic.
That's the right place for it.
Yeah.
Right on the edge of the drop. Just make sure that he doesn't swim under the boat, Malcolm. This thing's got oysters there.
Okay, mate.
As you bring him in, I'll keep the boat going ahead.
Okay, thanks.
All right. You got colour at all?
Yeah, I got colour. Not a bad sort of a cooter. Yeah, we'll just gaff him as gently as that's possible. If you can slip it under his jaw, you'll be doing pretty well. Oh, well done. Might do a little tiny bit of surgery there in that skin. Thanks, Vic. Just got to keep my hands clear of those fangs.
Good.
Drop him over the side. Get your tail in the gear. Off like a bullet. We have a new island on our horizon. About all we know about it is that it's different from things we've seen so far, and that it's called Nymph. And checking it out should be really interesting.
Take her in as far as we reasonably can and then drop the anchor in.
Okay.
Throughout this trip, the most exciting thing for me was the realization that I was seeing new territory, little changed in centuries. It was likely, for example, that no one had landed here for months, or perhaps a year.
That ought to hold that. Actually, we're very lucky to have arrived at this beautiful island at this point in time because it's dead low tide, which gives us a great opportunity to go and walk on the reef and see if we can find some interesting bits and pieces. One thing that it's always very important to remember if you ever get to walk on pristine reef country like this is to wear something on your feet to protect you and to walk very carefully so that you protect the reef. And the other golden rule we have is that you don't touch anything that you don't know about, because there are things that live on this reef that can kill you. So that's a good reason not to touch anything. So look, don't touch. And having touched something you do know about, always put it back. The beautiful things that live here are better off left here. One thing I can touch, I think, because I know what he is, and he's living in this rock, is a little epaulet shark. I wonder if I can lift that up. Yeah, there he is. Isn't he beautiful? One little epaulet shark.
One of his best defences, which must be camouflage, right?
I'll grab him gently without disturbing him too much, and we'll have a better look at him. Yeah, he doesn't like that. Yeah.
Leathery skin.
Not much in the way of teeth, little
Yeah.
soft sucking mouth for picking up bits and pieces off the bottom, I'd reckon. There's another thing I can see from there. He's got that nictitating membrane closed over his eyes, which is another shark defense mechanism. Anyway, I'll put him back in his hole. Straight under the rock.
This reef flat is mostly dead coral rubble and decaying limestone boulders, but lots of things live here.
That little rock just in front of you, Vic, I just saw something shoot back inside there. Looked a little bit...
Take it easy.
Yeah.
Little
There he is.
octopus.
Little octopus.
I don't know what kind he is, but...
Yeah. Yeah, if he's got blue rings on him, I'm not having anything to do with him.
Dead or not, flats like these remain fragile and vulnerable environments where man is the intruder.
The tide is just starting to rise and come in and cover this reef flat again. And already the scavengers and predators are moving in with the water. There's one here causing all this mud. There's a big stingray. He's just underneath my rod tip at the moment, squatting on the bottom, stirring up the mud and getting out the little crustacea, doing his feeding. If I tap him on the back with the rod, you might see him move.
The tide was making fast, but the reef flat had a surprise or two left for us yet.
The tide's really starting to roll in over the edge of the reef now, Vic.
Yeah.
Hey, look at this. I don't know how we're going to manage this, but we should think of something. Maybe you just hold him there. That's got him.
Chase him straight into the bucket.
Okay, I'll try and chase him straight in the bucket. You let him go now. All right? Just pull. Yeah, we don't want to pull that off him. Oh, he's pretty quick with them. There we go. Oh, beauty. One mud crab. Yeah, I didn't expect to find one out here. That little bloke is a hermit crab. But he's living in what was once a very dangerous shell. That's one of the typical cone shells, one of the poisonous species that live on this reef. If the original owner of that shell was in there, he could whip out a little scalpel blade type device and inject me with a poison that would probably kill me in about 4 hours. So if you ever see anything shaped remotely like that and patterned like that on the reef, don't touch it. We tend to think of shellfish as a fairly small class of creature here on the Great Barrier Reef. There are exceptions, of course, like the giant clam. But have a look at this bloke. Have a little bit of trouble wearing that round your neck on a chain. Incredible. And the animal that wore that on its back must have been about half a foot longer. Massive.
This is actually an Australian trumpet shell and is in fact the largest gastropod on Earth.
Quite spectacular.
With the tide pushing us off the reef flat, we had just about enough of the day left to explore a bit further afield. Apart from anything else, a few more of those mud crabs would be very welcome, and the best place to start looking for those was in here.
This looks for all the world like a freshwater creek, but it's not at all. It is in fact one of several tidal races, and it's draining a large lagoon that takes up most of the interior of this whole island. It's a fascinating place because it's different. One of the things we hope to find are some more of those mud crabs in there.
We did any wading in this place very cautiously. Being only a few miles from a tropical wilderness coastline, this lagoon, we suspected and later confirmed, was full of crocodiles as well as crabs.
Plenty of evidence of them, Vic. These little hutches here, and the holes seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, just you can see cuttlefish shells there.
Yeah. Down the...
Low.
Look at that. Sitting in little hutches.
Yeah. Now watch him, he's well and truly alive.
Try and hook him out of that little hutch there. Oh, he's well in there. Okay, I might even be able to just plonk him straight in, Vic. Oh. Don't let them eat each other.
To fishermen especially, mangroves like these are very important. Not only are they fish nurseries and essential to other creatures like mud crabs, but they're at the very beginning of a vital food chain, dropping tons of dead leaves into the water each year on which bacteria feed. Mangroves are also fascinating habitats just to be in, especially for explorers like Vic.
In my own case, the thing that I've always enjoyed most has been exploring, more than anything else. If any one thing really turns me on, it's to go into some river that not only I have never been into before, but virtually nobody else has ever been into before. And when you get into that sort of a situation, you can put in a lot of time in one stream or one island. I could put in a lot of time right here on this one little island. I've always gone looking for additional things, additional species, and also, of course, trying to understand what I'm seeing.
I bet that feels a whole lot more comfortable.
With all that good out.
That's the very next thing I'm going to do when I get half a chance, is take all that sand and stuff out of my feet. Oof. Hey, look at this. Got a good one here. It's got little marks and coral rubble, everything behind it.
He hasn't been there lately. He certainly looks like it.
This might have to be an ambush job, mate.
Grab him with the gaff just pressed down on top of him.
Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, geez, I know how to hook into the corners. Here he is, in there. Here he comes.
He might have different ideas.
Well, undoubtedly he has. This must be a bit of a rude shock to him. Here he is.
Right over.
Oh, a beauty. Ripper.
Just watch out in case he sheds the claw.
Fantastic. Oh, that's good.
Huh.
How about that?
Okay.
Good to have a wind.
Yeah. Listen, I just as soon get out and check on the dinghy. See what happens.
Much of the charm of wilderness trips like this is genuinely getting away from it all, and not just hauling it all along with you, doing without the comforts of home, but reveling in the special opportunities being part of the wild presents, like living off the land in harmony with it.
Well, fishing could have been a little bit brighter this morning, but altogether, it hasn't been a bad sort of a day, has it?
The crabs rounded things out rather nicely.
Yeah, finding them was a bit of a highlight. Well, eating them would be a highlight.
How do you figure on treating them?
Well, we haven't got a billy big enough to put them all in, so how about we try an Aboriginal style? I'll just rake out a few low coals and we'll bake them in their shells right there. Tastes beautiful.
Of course,
really.
you realise we could use them for cod bait.
The cods aren't getting anywhere near those, mate. I'll tell you that right now. Cods can live with bits of old fish. That's one. We'll give him a few minutes on that side and then turn him over.
Got room for a third?
I think so. Great. Oh, we'll test them after 2 minutes anyway and see how we go.
They're turning rather nicely red where they're cooking.